On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline.
I would say people go wrong with thinking through it's more about them than it is about their audience. And where they fall short is it's like being in a room and talking about yourself at a party to the point that people realize all you've done is talked about yourself. And you never left room for them to say anything about themselves. So I would say marketing is the practice of reading the room. And advertising is taking the information that you take in and then being able to put that out to the audience and having that communication and everything with them from there.
But how do you get people to read the room? Like, I mean, I get the analogy a lot, the whole party thing and speaking, more about yourself than other people, but how do you read the room properly? Like when we're first starting out, or even if we're reinventing ourselves in our own businesses, we tend to fall back on known sort of paradigms that people use in marketing, I guess. How do we create that uniqueness with ourselves in this?
Sure. That goes back to my 5-4-3 method to brand clarity. We look at the brand journey and we try to look at specifically what is it that your brand journey, what led up to you bringing this to market? What led up to you having that why? Was it something that you experienced and you want to be able to share it with someone? Is it something that you've seen people struggle with and you want to be able to step in and help them? There's a lot of different reasons people bring things to market, and those are going to be the differentiators for people.
So I want to dive into that part that you just said just a little bit more, right? I've seen people struggle with this and I want to help them, but that's still very me focused. So how do I position it in that outward way that, doesn't talk about me? Because I can help people write copy. I see people struggle with copy. I'm awesome at that. I'll teach you or I'll do it for you. It's still 100% about Allison. Great topic, but not what my people want to hear.
Well, a good starting point is looking at frequently asked questions. One of the great places to be able to identify the problem is to go into groups, do your research online. That's where you're getting the actual language from. Instead of using jargon and industry words and things that only matter to people in the industry, what you're doing is you're actually using their words, their struggles, what they're prioritizing, and then you're repeating it back to them and saying, listen, you're not alone. I'm here with you. I understand it. And these are some of the ways that we can address it. And here's a solution that I specifically have that I think can help get you to your goal.
Okay, so earlier you talked about this 5-4-3 method. Can you explain it a little bit? Like, I want to understand it deeply.
Mm-hmm. So for me, starting with the 5, it's the brand journey, the target audience, the business model, the business basics, and the marketing basics. When you start there, that's the foundation that you're going to build your brand around. That's going to allow you to be able to dig into your brand journey of what experiences led up to you saying, I want to be able to create something to bring it to the market. What's your why? What led up to it? Those are the things where you can start talking about yourself, and then you start to look at where's the overlap with the actual target audience. So again, marketing is not just about figuring out your brand journey, but it's also looking at your actual target audiences. Where are they struggling? What's their wants? What's their needs? It could even be guilty pleasures. You have to know how to be able to look at how they're prioritizing things. And if you can figure out their priorities, then that's where you can start to look at the buyer's journey and you find the best place to be able to step in there. So the 5-4-3 is not only identifying what makes sense, but it's looking at the buyer's journey, it's looking at the target audience, and it's looking at how can you bring something to market that's going to allow you to be able to bypass that that imposter syndrome, where you go in, you feel like you've got a good idea, but you don't necessarily feel confident about it. You can't do your elevator pitch because you still feel like, I don't know if I have it exactly the way that I want to be able to do it. And that's a big difference in sales. If you don't believe it, why would somebody else believe it?
I get that as well. And I'm just jumping in because I know Allison was taking some notes for our show notes
So
right
many
now.
notes.
I think that people get hung up on this imposter syndrome side of things. I think people get hung up on the what makes me different. Something that my partner used to say to me over and over and over again years ago was, how do you stand out from what people could just search on Google? Right? Like, how are you a differentiator from, like, how is your information unique versus if I put the same search parameters into Google kind of thing? And I guess my question is for you, I mean, how do you deal with clients that have major imposter syndrome? How do you get them to see that what they create is unique? What is your special method for that?
That's the 4 of the 5, 4, 3. It's looking at your target audience, your solution, your why, and your experience. It's
And usually
listening
that's
to their
enough to get
story.
them out of it.
It is when you're doing where you're reinforcing them throughout the process.
Okay.
Because
so
if you're putting something in place where you're talking about, well, why did you choose to do this? What did you see in the market that made you feel like this is something that I really need to be able to bring in so that I can either stop someone from having the experience, help them overcome an experience? It can be preventative measures. When you dig into their why and you put a solution around it, it gives them a little bit more confidence to be able to take that next step forward. And then when you start to look at the differentiators, that's where they can start to see, well, it's not just an idea, it's special because this is what makes it special. And when you can start to dig into it that way, you can start to build up the confidence. But personally, one of the things that I do is I listen to the words that people are using. I again, read the room. When I hear someone say, well, I might be able to, and one day, these are things that I correct them on. We're on a path of getting you to your actual goal. So we're going to take all the doubt out of the things that you're saying, and we're going to make it so that we're actually speaking these things into existence. So you're building that trust, you're reinforcing this is actually going to happen. And when you build things out in phases so that they can see the progress that they're making, it makes a huge difference with someone that's just starting out.
We've talked a lot about why you should build your list, your email list.